from when I was 29 in 2015.
Unless I'm ashen, uncomfortable, distorted like a Picasso painting, my family isn't ready to photograph me. So there are photographs from this time that are not very, very flattering. Yeah, my sister's like Jane Mansfield, who I'm surprised is not a Taurus. Like, I thought she would be a Taurus because Taurus women are all the people who are like chest out, you know, and just making a person really uncomfortable. Like, I mean, I've seen Bigamy Bimbo do it. I've seen my sister do it, and Jane Mansfield with the whole chest out thing that she always does. That, you know, Marilyn Monroe was offended by. Yeah. So yeah. Jack's no different. Like, I stay, my couch surfing host in Manhattan, Jack, oh my god, his whole apartment was like a dust heap, and the bathroom was like literally carpeted with his hair, and, you know, he had a packet of Kleenex that he said I could use if I wanted to, and I used that Kleenex to clean the entire apartment at Butler Hall. Oh my god, I was just so disgusted, and I was sneezing all over the place, and I was just really, really under the weather at his place because of that. It's like, you know, it's just like, maybe don't have dust everywhere and don't have your hair everywhere. Like, there's a girl going to stay with you. I mean, at least have the manners to clean up before she's coming. I mean, it's not a very nice thing to do, to host a person like that. Champion of venality, Mona Darling, discovered that I had one O-level A in mathematics. Yeah, and wasn't gonna stay at grammar. Yeah, at first she was like, well, you should have told me earlier, like, you could have gone to Lyceum easily, and this and that, and blah, 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 and I was just, like, not interested. I mean, I was literally trying to get myself out, because I was sick and tired of that gross math teacher who was like, oh, there's this girl I teach in Section M, Nadia, I just want to pin her down to the floor with my D. And I was terrified, I was crying, I was just really, really upset by this creep, this shit-faced creep. You know, I was 15 years old, and I have to deal with this nonsense. There was this guy, Nicole, I don't even know his name, he just grunted, and he's like, Nadia's the prettiest girl here, but खास करके मेरी बनती है ताकि कोई पीछे नहीं लगे. And it's like, if you think that, then, I mean, why are you angry about that for one? It's like, I mean, okay, but you understand that I don't want to be stalked, so that's good. Mona repeatedly stated that, you know, it's like, मैं भी सोच रहा था कि DFCM ने क्यों अपने साथ मुझे बिठा लिया, मैं भी सोच रहा था. And she was just like insinuating the epiphany that she had, that the reason why Mrs. DFCM had made her sit with her was because for once she didn't do anything corrupt. You know, it's like, I mean, she got her idiot daughters in, you know, the wrong way. They all had one O-level A, and they weren't even OGs, they weren't even old grammarians. And she shoved in my brother with marginal marks, and then she got Fatma, right? She got her in with 6 O-level A's when the minimum requirement for new G's in her year for commerce students was at least like 7 or 8. So yeah, so I'm sure Mrs. DFCM was confused. She was like, you know, it's like, oh, well, Mona Darling for once in her life did not, you know, force somebody into grammar. But yeah, so but one of the main reasons why I wanted to get out of KGS was Mona and the creepy math teacher and Mummy with her whole obsession with like Urdu medium, and like it's almost like she's accusing me of killing Dumplot. Just nonstop, and you know, as if he's not Dumplot. Okay, he's this guy who made a Mentos and soda bomb in middle school, which is why Mr. Califato wanted to kick him out. You know, it's like, you know, he's not a victim at all. Nervously began to stutter. Relax, take deep breaths, relax, it's not the end of the world, relax, it's fine. DFCM taught me biology, and she saw that my performance was waning. She taught me biology in 11th grade, not before that, not after that. Yeah, so at Saru's Valima, we didn't attend the wedding, just the Valima. She spotted me, and I didn't see her, but then I heard her. She's like, Nadia Siddiqui, you look gorgeous. And she was like slapping her knee at the time, so that's why I'm trying to do that. And even with my hoodie on, I made you look. When a person is suffering from muscular dystrophy resulting from inactivity and diabetic sarcopenia, the last thing they should be eating is butter, sugar, and or red meat. Mona force-fed my father all three of those things, you know, without any consideration for logic or just like thinking about it. Like her own husband has diabetes, and she's aware of the fact she doesn't let him eat any sugar. And it's like my father is in this condition where he's literally just has no muscle, very little muscle, and instead of you know, helping him build muscle, she's getting sugar and fat, and you know, it's like protein that won't be absorbed because he's not exercising much, he's not moving much. That was the issue. That's what caused the sarcopenia in the first place, was the lack of activity. The reason why Puch kept stressing on protein supplements from Dubai that would help you know, protein absorption and help build muscle, you know, muscle mass, muscle weight, you know, it's because, you know, it's like you can't just eat protein. You have to have a supplement that is designed to be absorbed, you know, designed not to cause kidney failure. And he did eventually get, you know, anuria, which is a result of kidney failure usually. His last meal, as I understand it, was Mona's mithai, and yeah, I think that's what. And his teeth were just so black. I mean, they were just literally black. They were rotten on the day that he died. And I was really worried. Like, I was really confused. Like, how did this get to this state? I mean, I thought Zulfikar was going to be brushing his teeth, because a few weeks ago I had asked, because his teeth looked yellow, that I was like, you know, I want to brush your teeth, I want to brush your teeth. And then, you know, he's like, no, Zulfikar will do it. Zulfikar is the errand boy. Zulfikar is the gopher here, so he's going to do it. And you know, and then, you know, I wasn't allowed to brush his teeth. So I figured he was getting his teeth brushed, but they weren't getting brushed, and that's just depressing. But yeah, it's like she's still getting mithai. I returned Najjo's I kept Najjo's biscuits. I didn't return them. I kept them because Daddy pretended to. I mean, he's just like gave me the biscuits as a birthday present so he could get the chocolate, and it's like, you know, you're definitely not getting more sugar chocolate, and you know, she shouldn't have brought biscuits with sugar in them anyway, but you know, Mona said मीठा बड़े शौक से खाता है, तो फिर इन्हें भी अहमकाना हरकत की मोना की वजह से. Even with my honey on, I made you lie. I'm going to talk. Salut, comment ça va? Bonjour, bonsoir, bonne nuit. Très bien, très bien, très bien. Before that, Mommy called him when he was in a state of emergency. It's like his blood pressure was up. I don't know, he's just lying and his blood pressure was up, and his sugar was very, very low, extremely low, critically low, I would say. And Mommy, yeah, she didn't know what to do. She called them, and the one good thing that Mona and Khalihola did was call the Aman ambulance. And then after that, it's like, you know, I've already given him, like, okay, so Mommy bought a lot of fruits from the local bodegas or whatever, telas, and carts. Telas are carts, not bodegas, but there are also bodegas that sell fruits and vegetables in the area. Anyway, so and the one good thing that they did was call the ambulance. And then after that, you know, Khalihola is making salty soup, salty chicken stock when his blood pressure is high, and it's just like, what is wrong with you? I mean, he doesn't need that. His blood pressure is already high. There were various stages of his disease in which he could have recuperated fully. You know, he could have recovered. It's just that his diabetes was mismanaged. And it's basically his fault that, you know, he just didn't want to recover. You know, it's just in that sense. I mean, I'm not blaming him for the disease itself, but, you know, the exacerbation of the disease, like the complications occurring from them, stemmed from his negative attitude, which was just, you know, I don't want to get well. And Mona did another thing like that, you know, she's just, yeah, so she encouraged that attitude by saying, oh, हाँ बिल्कुल भाईजान का ये आलम था और मन्नू भाई का भी ये आलम था, and she's like saying these stupid things, and I was like, oh, भाईजान जो थे वो तो चीजें फेंक देते थे, ये तो बड़ा ककू तो बड़ा तमीज से रह रहा है और ये कर रहा है और वो, oh my god, she's so, it's like, do you not know that Cuckoo is a Gemini? Do you not know that he's just like, he's going to do exactly what you're saying that he hasn't done, that his brothers have done? You know, it's like you're literally encouraging him to act up and exacerbate his already extremely exacerbated illness from his, yes, well, you know, it's just like an unwillingness to want to get better, to feel any sense of responsibility towards yourself and those dependent on you, those around you. while manifesting those same dependencies, making sure that those people are dependent and controlled. It's just a weird thing. It's all bad. I wouldn't trade my father in for like somebody who isn't cultured, who doesn't know poetry. I didn't want this at all. Yeah, I'm just remembering this evening in Cyprus when evening in Cyprus, there were these weird men who looked at me and they were just like, oh, hot, sexy or something. I had really long hair and some makeup on, and anyway, so I was tired and I just sat down on a bench.
Hello and welcome to Newsroom with Nadia Shireen Siddiqui. Today is July 5th, 2017, and it's a Wednesday. Hello and welcome to Newsroom with Nadia Shireen Siddiqui, where I talk about my...
Sat on this bench and then these, hyenas started lurking, and then Daddy stopped and turned around, and and then they were gone. These weird men, and it's just, I have no idea where my mother and brother went. I mean, I know they went somewhere. Anyway, so Daddy asked me if I was tired, and I got home that way, and yeah, I get tired easily. I might have scleroderma. It's just like lethargy. For 37, you're keeping it tight. I have no idea how he said it. No, yeah. Thanks for the support, Robin, is when she's yelping about here. Up to no good with a blonde bigamy bimbo in the state of California, where bigamy is null and void legally. It reminds me of how Sherri kept making faces at me, and it's like, I don't get it. I was like, it's so esoteric, it's just like, why do you have my stuff? Why do you have my blank pages with my signatures on them? Why do you have my ID copies? It's just like, I don't understand. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
Nadia, Bobby.
Hey, a nice house with ivy growing on it. And we must have a pool. Pool sounds great. Are you for real, Bobby? This is totally new to me, but I know it's what I want. I want to be confused with you. Here's the thought. We're all Jahil laypersons in fields that we haven't formally studied. Mansplaining is irritating, not impressive. Thinking about this bit from Family Ties, where Michael Grossman's character Dad is Mr. Keaton, right? So is explaining to Mallory that the reason why Alex Keaton would never come home with a C is because if a teacher dared to give Alex Keaton a C, he would be at school arguing with the teacher until that C was turned into an A, not because, he could never get a C.
March Zan Zindagi Azadi. Dream in which Halima was forcing Daddy to drink soapy water or something, and then, I knocked the glass out of her hand and hugged him and told him it's okay. And then Mummy started going on and on about, I don't know, she just keeps elevating random people. It's like, okay, fine. I mean, I know she was elevating Mira before, but it's like, I know Mira Sethi was terrible at everything before she was sent to the UK because she had bad grades, because she was completely nikami in Pakistan, and she wasn't even going to a really good school or anything where there's proper competition. Like Rayan being sent from grammar to Brighton. It's like Rayan was born a smart person. She came first in class 3. So it's like, that's a different story. But this person didn't go to like KGS. She didn't get into some major hyper-competitive school.
Washington elite, and who must be held accountable for what they're doing with our taxpayer dollars and how they're undermining our national security as they push us closer and closer to the brink of nuclear catastrophe. They need to stop giving a blank check to Ukraine and demand accountability for the tens of billions of dollars that they've sent so far. Because the blank check, it's not just for Ukraine. It's for the military-industrial complex, who's made trillions of dollars off of our wars in Afghanistan and the Middle East.